Good morning, it's 9:08, and I'm gonna call the meeting to order. We have one. Get a chance to look over the minutes, and when you're ready, can I get a motion?
Make a motion to approve the minutes as presented.
I'll second. All in favor? All opposed? Just look at the agenda, see if there's any additions. Directly, any additions?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
A second. All in favor? Aye. Alrighty, correspondence, public comment. Board's directors report.
All right, so we've had 5 new candidates filed since the last time we met. We've had others that have called in inquiring about it. We sent them the information, just waiting for them to come in to file. We have 198 election judges that are currently signed up. They reached out to us saying that they'd like to be judges again this year, or they're interested in being a new judge. And communication has been sent to all of them to look forward in your emails in the upcoming month, because we're going to start sending out dates to sign up for election judge training sessions. The state board met last month and they approved all of our election day sites, our early voting sites, and all of our drop boxes, which were the same in the last few election cycles and will be continuing to be the same for the upcoming 2026 election cycle. That concludes my report.
How many election judges do you need, including like backup, even should you have for our election?
175.
175.
Thanks, Bill. I just wrote that question down. Drop it all there. Got to ask it. So
Okay.
That would be the minimum. We always love more.
So we're in good shape.
We're in good shape. We'll lose probably 10 to 15% of those, but we'll also gain between now and then. So it usually ends up always right there where we was good.
Do you stop encouraging people to
No,
come along in the meantime, or
no,
welcome them?
welcome.
Okay.
I certainly figured enough.
Anything else? All right, board council report.
Yeah, the only thing I've really done this month was either talk to Chrissy or try to talk to the state about our needs for warehouse and office space. So I don't know where you want to plug that in.
I just talked to them. The
I've
state,
called, but I haven't got the call back.
how many times you call?
No, just once.
This
Chrissy and I talked last week when I was away, and I went ahead and called while I was away, and message for half of the meeting.
Because you have to, yeah, they kind of ignore us, so you have to be right on them.
Oh, you came in after we were talking, I guess. Chrissy's gotten some numbers. Were you here when she, were you aware of this number for the?
No,
Okay. So when do you want to do that?
New business. Old business.
Okay. That's the next subject, so we might as well.
Okay, old
well, have
business.
you talked to anybody, like Todd Nolan or anything like that? What you're gonna talk
Not since before. Todd's pretty much simply saying he's going to set up a meeting for us with commissioners. And that's the one thing I did want to talk about. We're going to have this meeting. I think I have most of the information now, but kind of piecemeal. I think we really ought to have for that meeting, chronology, what's transpired so far. You know, dates, times, who was present, what was said, what information the county was given. So when we do the lead into this meeting, we ought to have a presentation. You know, this is kind of where we are. And then, of course, this is about to supplement it with it. But whether it's good news or bad news over the cost of the new building based on square footage to be. But that's good. And we got something to start with. So, Chris, you want
Old business, I'm sorry. What we doing?
So in regards to the space needs, we did hear back from the county. We asked them for their assistance on how to project the cost of a capital budget request. for either renovation of space that currently exists or one that would be a new build. They came back saying that we're going to go ahead and put in the request for the projected cost of a new build so that we can get it into the capital budget over the course of the next few years for a build date, probably 28-29 fiscal year. And the projected cost of new build based on square footage and need for the entirety would be 8.1 million.
8.1.
8.1 million.
Thank you. And so are they aware of our needs based on elections? Do they realize the timeline? Is there a reason they're pushing it to 28-29?
As far as I know, they have to present it and go through the commissioners after it's approved in the capital budget. So once that goes into effect, it starts the steps for that. So the planning would be, I think it said fiscal year 28 would be the planning sessions.
My question is, can we survive here till 28-29, or should we need to look at something in the end?
Well, I believe we'll probably look at something in the interim, at least on our end, and try to, once have this meeting, like Jeff saying, with them and go over projected timeline and see if there's anything else available between now
And we don't want to do it twice.
and then. No, we don't, but you don't know what's gonna happen, if there's something that may be available that's more cost efficient than a new build.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, but the problem is that we just probably can't stay here till 28-29
No,
waiting.
I don't see it.
Yeah, so for staying here, it's not completely conducive to our needs, but if we had to, of course, we'll make it work. The only problem is we need this room, and that's not what there's something that they're willing to give up on. There's so many other departments and boards utilize this space that's in here.
So the only other possibility is if someone else, right? Or is there a big enough organization here that? Okay.
Well, I told Chrissy I haven't done it yet, only because my secretary, 5-year-old, got COVID and flu on Monday. I talked to her this morning because I'm fearful of me even being here because she and I are working really close together. She came in Monday, he got tested Sunday, and the results came in Monday. But anyway, she doesn't have it, so I think.
She will?
She doesn't have it.
Oh, I
Yeah,
thought you
but her
were.
son's still really
Yeah,
sick.
whatever.
I was gonna write a letter, and we'll still, if you like, to, we had one property we talked about, I talked to see about, I was gonna write a letter, because we can't figure out who owns it. I was gonna write a letter to the person that gets the tax bill, asking if they would be interested in this. Todd brought up the building, Chrissy, I think we've talked about some about the building, I don't think it's need to talk about it.
You're mumbling, I
Session.
can't do.
Hmm.
You're mumbling, I can't do.
I apologize. I don't think it's appropriate to talk about somebody's property that we never. So I still think I ought to write them a letter to find out if they're interested, because it's a good building. So
Is the letter coming from you or is it coming from the board?
whatever the board's pleasure is, I was just gonna make a simple inquiry whether or not it's available.
Naming the Board of Elections interest or just general loans?
I was gonna go ahead and say,
Yeah, I would like it to.
yeah,
I would
because
think
it was
the
from
board-
the county, they know it's a legit tenant.
Yes, yes.
Are they aware?
But it could be on board stationary. So,
Are they aware of the urgency, are the commissioners aware of the urgency of this need?
Well, the county administrator and their staff is.
Because I think anything we can do to move this, if they're going to consider it in 2028, that is going to extend into the 30s.
They've been made aware of the urgency and of the election date. Concerned about them dragging their feet.
Yeah.
And, right now, money is available in the county, it's going to be available in 2 years. We don't know what's going to happen with the economy, and that's my concern, that the timeline, I think, is pushed too far out.
well, that should be a real focus in our meeting with commissioners.
The estimate that you got came from the county,
From the county.
what? Not the commissioners, not
And the engineers.
planning zone.
Was it based on the wish list? Did all square, because based on square footage.
Right,
how
it's
many
based on
feet?
square
Were they
footage.
giving you basically everything? That would be everything we asked.
That would be everything we asked for. So it's a higher.
That was, yeah.
Have the commissioners ever been through this office?
They all file in this office. They all come here to file. So they've all been.
Have they gotten a tour of the,
I'm not gonna get some of them.
Of the
Some
where?
of them have, some of them have, some of them have. Well, it is an election year.
The other nice push for us though, was that when I brought it to Todd, because I knew did so much of the planning and zoning that they're not happy with the usage of this space.
Oh, no, nobody in this building is happy with it.
And he's very aware of that. So it's not just us pushing for space.
well,
They're trying to push us out, but they're rushing.
seems like whatever we can do to have some of these people realize the small space that you're limited to, particularly in the warehouse area. I mean, when you're filing, you're kind of unaware of what's back there. And that's a cramped, hard to use space. And they don't like this space being used. We sort of got to build a picture of what the challenges are here. Because I don't think they're getting it.
No, they don't realize the machinery and how you have to move it in and out and how cumbersome it is. And we certainly want them to look at it specifically when they're here, whoever comes.
So it sounds like we're in agreement that Jeff can get in touch with the property owner and inquire about leasing.
And that's just coming to mind is it sounds like if we're going to build, it's more of a short-term need in terms of years.
Right.
I'll have to talk to Todd, but I'd like to be able to say, so they know the whole gambit is, we'd be interested in short-term, long-term, and or purchase.
Right.
But I don't want to go to purchase without having
Well,
some.
that was gonna be my next point. Who and how are we gonna set up this meeting with the commissioners?
My understanding is Todd's setting it. He told you that too, right?
I don't know.
My understanding is March. But I'll try to, when I call Todd about.
So you're gonna do both of those?
When I call Todd, I'll talk about.
All right, is everybody in agreement? Do we need a motion for?
Is that on their March agenda for us to be on that?
He said sometime, what I remember is he said sometime in March. When did they finalize the budget? March.
Well,
He was talking about
our
a
budget hearing
meeting
is
with the
March.
board. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I think that's
Not
our
at the
first
regular
budget
meeting.
hearing. I don't think it's.
Well, they have budget meetings, so I don't know if it's all right. I have a feeling budget meetings totally different. But I'll talk to him about that.
Oh, if they finalize the margin, it sounds like they need to get in it.
Well, our,
And if it's a
we
meeting,
present
does
in March.
the whole board
You all
want to
present
present?
in March. Oh,
When they go over it, we submit it before then, and then we sit down with them. That's usually when we go through and they ask questions. about
they'll
it.
have it.
But that's at a regular budget meeting.
Yeah.
It's different, right? That's what I was.
Right, but then if they have questions about the budget, it does go in front of the commissioners, and then we would go in front of the commissioners with that. And then they would discuss our budget too, before it would get approved.
And the board needs to decide if we have a meeting, does everybody want to be there or you designate, at the end and Bill, you want them to be the representatives, you have to make some, Anyway,
I think we should all be there.
yeah, whatever works for you.
I agree.
Well, we're all there, then that's a meeting for us, then, is that correct? Because we are assembling as an organization, so.
But, it's really their meeting.
Right, but we're
We're all
on the
there.
spot,
We're all there.
and we can vote, because we have the opportunity. On maybe do it for president,
I'll probably call the guy to open meetings just to
clarify.
make
yeah.
sure. I think,
Yeah,
I
we don't want to
personally
step
think,
it over.
I personally think it's their meeting. I don't know if you'll do any voting.
Yeah.
They just give feedback.
Just
Yeah,
wanna- just wanna make
that's
sure.
going to a totally different. But if they're just getting input at their meeting, I would think it would be
Yeah,
nice.
just clarify, that'd be great.
Yeah.
I will, 'cause I don't wanna know.
No,
Do you have those dates in more? Is that going to be prior to our meeting?
Sorry, I don't have very good service.
Our meeting would be on the 19th.
So it's on the order. Ours is on the 26th.
So anything that comes out of that,
Before that, yeah.
we can vote on that.
No, the budget meeting is on the 4th.
Yes, but I said anything that comes out of that meeting, we can discuss on the 19th.
26th.
And I've also talked to I also find it from Todd. The last time we talked to, I think, I had asked him about the Board of Ed property. Of course, it is still on the Board of Ed, but I thought he indicated to me that that would be a point of discussion in this for the board, you know, whether the county's gonna take that over at some point.
Did they give you any reason why they decided against the old Board of Education building?
They didn't really say, except I'm trying to pull the email now that I got last night.
This there, you have demolition and reclamation.
Sure, but I want to know what they.
Pending uncertainty with the disposition of the old Board of Ed.
Say that again?
Pending uncertainty with the disposition of the old Board of Ed.
Yeah, they're dragging their feet on taking it over. There's no reason why the county can't have that building now. I mean, Board of Ed is just dragging their feet on it for whatever reason. So the way that sounds is like, I mean, that's not definite. Not that I'm pushing that building at all, but that's not a definite response, you know.
I don't know how it works. I mean, they build them a new building, you would think that county.
Well, it's owned by the Board of Education.
Right.
However, the county has the ability to take it over because of the new building. However, the Board of Ed has to stop dragging its feet and paperwork just sign it over to the county.
Yes, yeah, I don't know the,
Yeah.
the ins and
I
outs of
mean,
the
it's
state level.
a very simple thing. So whoever at the Board of Education, why are they dragging their feet on it? And again, I'm not pushing that, but the way he responded to Chrissy, it's not a permanent solution that they would say, okay, now we decided we're gonna go into the Board of Education building. So we don't have definitive information that we're gonna get a new building or we're gonna wait. It's just, there's too much out there.
But the Board of Ed property, I've added the time on about the letter timing and also the Board of Ed. The Board of Ed property is important, whether it's gonna be a new building or it's gonna be, you know, a reclamation of the
I
old.
mean, they have
because
enough
that's the
property
perfect
that you
instant.
could build a new building right behind them.
That's my point. So
You know?
regardless, even if they want to do the new building, the property is still important.
Right, right, exactly.
Yeah.
Can you get, can we give Jeff a deadline that we get this information?
Well, I can call Todd anytime, but whether I'm going to get you any information,
Well, that's the point. I mean, every
I
month.
can't give him a deadline.
We should know something by our February meeting.
Yes, I'm going to go ahead and talk to Todd about the letter, get the letter out, talk to Todd about the meeting, when he thinks that might be. And I'll inform him that the entire board would like to be there. And I'll talk to him to the extent he knows about the board.
Jeff, if I could request that the meeting with the representatives of the commissioners in March not occur until at least the second week in March. That's possible,
Okay.
just because.
End of March.
No, not end, it's at least the second week. Well, we want it before our meeting. Or they can come to our
If
meeting.
possible.
Is that enough time? If they came to our board meeting in March, or do we want to meet with them before?
I don't know what their timeline is.
It depends on when the budget's.
Yes, because they have.
Yeah.
When you guys meet,
Our meeting with them.
when you guys meet with them, you can give them that invitation to come over and view it before the building and before the-
I think they should do that before that.
do that before
I think they should
February.
come see before that.
Yeah,
But budget wise, it's a big plus. If they'll put 8.1 in the budget, we've got something. Then we're off of this reclamation stuff.
explain that again.
No, I mean, it's a big plus for us that we finally have some decision. I mean, the problem with Chrissy
Yeah,
trying to
but
come
are
up,
they putting it in this year's budget?
I thought they were gonna do, you
So
know, put it
it's-
in and then
It's
project it
permission
out.
for us to put into the capital budget, this upcoming fiscal year should be fiscal year 27, so go until 32.
Okay.
How they allocate it, I guess.
Can you explain that?
So yeah, so into a capital budget, it's not just for the next fiscal year, it's a projection over the next
So
6
that,
years, 6 years.
that amount is kind of guaranteed for a period of years, is that what you're saying?
So this is our first capital budget, so I'm not exactly positive how it works with them. I just know that they came up with a number based on square footage and the cost per square footage, the projection cost of what a whole new build would be. And they're looking at it as, the planning for precision design will start in fiscal year 28, and then the build itself will move in 28 to 29. So there's a course of that timeline.
That's all by allocation.
So,
The total 8.1.
so it's just really on their to-do list.
Yeah.
That's really the basic and because this could just drag on for freaking ever in a lot of ways. And they're not getting the message. Somehow they're not getting the message, and in that case, you should. I don't know, somehow we have to get the message to them that this is urgent.
Is there any point where the state comes in and get to the county? Because apparently the state sort of mandates what the county has to do for running elections and have certain things, you know, make sure it's available. But is there any point in time where they would actually come in and say, this isn't sufficient?
Well, that's something that Jeff was inquiring with the state. That he
Yeah.
hasn't spoken.
But we haven't heard from back on that. Okay. I mean, because that's our, you know, our pull there. I mean, yeah, we could sit here as a committee and group and do that, but if it's mandated down that, you know, you have a time, you have to do this by X date, you know, we have to have this available because we've got new equipment that's being required, new poll books and all that. I'm not sure the warehouse requirements for that compared to where we
Yeah,
are
we're not
now.
quite sure where we're gonna put that yet.
Yeah, and that's kind of the thing, you know, how's that, it's gotta be secure, you know, and somebody's gotta be there to, you know, to be, you know, I guess, on site all the time, to learn why the business is open, to make sure it is secure. So,
I mean, the other obvious concern with 2029 too is you have county elections.
Well, we always have an election. Every fiscal year, there's an election.
Some sort.
No. I'm talking about a county election.
Oh, the county
Yeah,
commissioners
County
election.
commissioners.
Well, there's always a county commissioners election.
No, I'm just saying, we're gonna be talking to these commissioners. Now you got a county commissioner election coming
I'll
up.
change
And
everything.
you can talk to your blue in the face with these commissioners and they might not be there. So
That's another point. of
and that's why
urgency.
you get the whole 8.1 in there now.
Yes,
Hopefully the next set of
Exactly.
commissioners
Thank you.
monitor it and move it on.
absolutely.
Because if all we were gonna do was not get something in that budget that identified something, then it'd be a bigger problem on mine. Because now it's so much like a new set of commissioners would have to actually reverse.
That's not what I was hoping the state would have someone pulling this, to, you know, to hang over their head that, you know, it doesn't matter who your commissioners are. We have this obligation to required by the state or mandated by the state. And I know you're working on that, Jeff, so it's when we get that information.
But again, Bill and I, when we met, we did discuss the urgency, and I know Chrissy, every time she talks to somebody there, the urgency of this, but they're not getting it. So Jeff, whoever you're talking to at the county, again, tell them, make it an urgent issue that we don't want to carry this out another year. We want to get on there. We don't want it like a promise.
Well, that's why in my mind, this letter, if we can find a good location, we know one, if you can find a good location, we can solve all the problems. The county would probably love it.
Did I read in the newspaper or hear that there is a lot out here next to the Board of Ed that the county has access to or owns or something?
Well, Bill knows more about that than me. He's the consultant for that developer, but at any rate, I think there's a deal where the county's gonna get 10 acres out, but it's all contingent on the developer getting. Oh. So they're going through.
So that could draw out. That's not immediate.
Oh, they'd like it to be sooner, but I think the developer needs water and sewer to make his wish come true. So there's a lot of twists and turns in that. So.
The annexation's already been approved.
Right.
Now it's just a matter of doing concept and getting approvals and, that type of thing, with the county. The extra acreage that's sort of a bargaining thing to, make everything work. Because there's some open space issues and things that have to be addressed with that are in there now. So once the county and all, I think everybody, of course, you got the county, the town, both, involved in this, because right now it's in the county, we've annexed it in the town. So the county wants the property, so it's, and the town wants the property, so it's how to make all that work.
So
But
in your
the
estimation,
county may have already identified that property for something.
or something,
Yeah, I was actually called when the property first went under contract through Peter Shaker's State Fire, asked me for the 10 acres. I said, guys, we just signed the contract, but I called the OC and who represents the fire. And then they carried on and apparently the buyer's interested.
so Bill, in your experience, how long would that take, based on everything else being equal? How long would it take for the county to actually control that property?
Well, it's all going to depend,
That's
because,
the problem.
because we don't know who's going to hold up what in the
Right.
process there as it goes through. Because certain things have to come before that, and, does the property get deeded in, subject to this happening?
So we
type
should
of thing.
probably not push for that. Because that's not gonna push us back.
It could fall in time, right? But we don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
Wasn't there some mess that, Churchill, the detention center,
Section center,
wasn't that run up at one point? Was there anything else said about that? No,
We're so much better if they take a clean slate, build a new building on a clean piece of property.
well, I'm glad to hear you say that.
Well, I've always felt that way. It's nice to know the commissioners are willing to put that in the budget. I mean, that's a significant amount of money, and I'm sure a lot of people are trying to buy for that money.
Well, we're putting it in as a request, so.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
You haven't been approved, so
Right.
as a board, we have to be functioning.
But it gives us a focus.
That money's just earmarked for a project that we're not sure where it will go, or, which property to be determined. That's, right this way. So at least it gets the ball rolling with the money. Now we gotta find the property and make sure everything else works, and the deal works with that as well.
And I'll talk to Todd too. I have a client that has property adjacent to the town of Centerville, which would be perfect. And I've been approached to find a developer that might be interested in it. Why, the county could be interested.
You swallowed your words.
Oh,
And then you swallowed your words.
well, I don't want to talk a whole lot about it. That's part of it.
Okay.
I'm saying there might be another property
Okay,
available
that's
that's in a
fine.
perfect location. It's
Okay.
not in hamlets and weekly indications. So I'll talk to Todd about that.
Another driver here would be population growth. I don't have that numbers. Apologize, I didn't look at it. How we doing population? What's the growth look like? We don't have that.
You need to have like registered voters.
I think we're at 43,000 something.
43, and is that up from,
It always goes up, it goes up
Yeah.
a little.
is it, I guess my question is significant growth?
The only significant developments I know about are the one here when it happens, and I know, KDOT just got one approved in the 5th election district for maybe 300. But anymore, because of the septic bill, you've got to have water and sewer. So really, development's driven by water and sewer. If we had more water and sewer available, there would be. But it's being doled out in canal because they've got caps on it. And then it's a question of expanding the water and sewer system. And that's really this developer's biggest problem.
Well, yeah, because that's got to be in the national water sewer plan to be able to allow for that number of units in there. And I think that's all part of this, which looks like it should come in like a 3 or 4 year time frame to be able to start the construction to do that. But, you know, like I said, all that stuff happens, but they're pushing, the county has pushed all the growth to the municipalities now. They want to make sure that's in, you know, an area not spread out all over the farms and all that. They want to focus it where the infrastructure will be. So that's why it's encouraged to be in, you know, like Centerville, you know, wherever they have the infrastructure, have it maintained by that.
But that 10 acres will be available really when the developer is comfortable enough that they're going to get
Yeah,
what
exactly.
they want. That's what
And like I say, it could be contingent, the deal contingent on it, but until that's happened, it's nothing they can do with it at this point. They can't start giving it out for other, you know, for the county projects as let's follow.
And Jeff, at one point, you had told me that you were going to, I don't know if you wanted to do it, you're gonna check with some other counties and how much it costs them to relocate their offices. Remember that conversation we had?
Relocation.
I vaguely
Relocation.
remember. Faintly remember.
Relocation is going to be.
I'm
We
just
were
trying to-
talking, we talked about, Lacan actually talked to us. He started, he had talked to at the Vico meeting, this was the last month, to other counties about how they were handling it. And then he was going to follow up, but I haven't heard anything.
But of course, he hasn't followed up.
I haven't.
He's
I
busy.
haven't heard anything about the follow up.
So where are we at? What are we doing?
So we're looking to, definitely communicate with,
I'm gonna communicate a letter to a potential person. I'm gonna talk to Todd about that letter before I send it. I'm gonna talk about Todd about timing. And aware of the meeting with the county commissioners. I'll try to reach, the state again. Talk to Todd also about, he can tell me if anything about the Board of Ed, you know, the property itself. I guess they discounted any reclamation, but the property's still. And I'll talk to him about this other property that I know could be that.
and somebody is going to talk to somebody, the commissioners, about a tour.
We can send an email if you would like.
Email, okay. You guys.
Asking them if they would like to.
No, I don't say would they like to. We want them to.
Well, we can request, yes.
Yes, okay.
It just might be a good idea before we have our meeting. That maybe they want to stop, but we show them before the meeting what a problem.
Either way.
Yeah, and they don't have to come together, it can be together.
But Jeff, you've got a lot to do for us.
Phone call.
Is there any
And
way,
you guys are gonna make,
is there any way that once you compose, complete all of this information, that it could be sent to us?
I mean, I can report to Chrissy and Chrissy can broadcast.
Disperse it.
That's fine.
I mean, that would be helpful. So that we have this information as we meet with these other people or discuss things with people, or if we need somebody, a commissioner, at an event or something that we have solid information.
And I'm probably gonna have a meeting with Todd. I got too many PMs on here.
Yeah.
So I'll set up a meeting.
Okay.
But there would be the letter that would be signed by the board. Would we get a copy of that?
Right.
Letter.
To the original, the letter
Proposal
to
the, property owner.
Owners,
I'll handle that however you like. I mean, that could be a letter from me, or it could be a letter on their stationery, and just draft up something. It's gonna be basically a paragraph.
Yeah,
The
I
problem
would
is
like it to be a
the
letter
editor is.
from the board overall.
right.
Yeah, everybody else is in agreement. Sure.
If somebody make a move.
I make a motion that that letter should be, from the board.
I'm sorry, can you clarify which letter? So I can-
It's,
Because we're being short.
Letter to the potential, not to potential, the property owner. That,
Of the existing building.
That Jeff
The
is gonna
end.
send a letter, you're
Yes,
making
yeah.
a motion that Jeff is gonna send a letter to the prospective.
the board's gonna send a letter that I'm gonna draft, I guess.
Yeah,
Who's gonna sign it? Either you'll sign it or Chrissy can sign it.
can I get a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
No, okay. The property, the building that currently exists, and what is that location, Jeff?
So I'm like, gonna
Yeah,
get.
he didn't have to disclose that yet.
No, but for her minutes, she's just trying to.
Well, she was property owner.
Alright.
I think it's fair. Once the letter goes out, I wouldn't mind you to say, do so and so, but I wouldn't want to say it.
I just wanna make sure my minutes, because we're being recorded, of what the exact.
Gotcha. All right. Anything else on that subject?
Jeff, do you think it would behoove Bill or me to attend the meeting with Todd and you? Or not?
It doesn't matter to me.
Any thoughts from the board?
I think all the information that the board can gather, I would encourage.
Look, you can get a meeting date with him and let Dorothy and I know, because I guess the board is already,
You already met with them, so.
yeah, and has agreed to allow us to meet on behalf on that, just to go over that, to represent the board, bring everything back to it. And then hopefully we're not gonna hold the meeting up if something happens. We'll do everything we can to be there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. I just want to give them notice that we're not gonna let this story down. I mean, that's my purpose.
Yeah, was that all the business? New business. All right, disclosures.
Good question though, on the poll books, when are they due, and are they gonna be in a week for the upcoming election, or are we gonna be using the new,
We're looking at this, so we're looking at 28 selection.
28 election? Okay. So we're good with all that, okay.
All right, disclosures. The conference of the next meeting.
February 26th. 26th.
26.
February 26th.
26.
26.
You got that.
All right,
Seems to be.
is everybody okay with that?
Sure.
I won't be here on the 26th. Yeah, you got information to disseminate.
Well, I'll stay in communication short of that.
Okay, so Chrissy will be able to report out, or somebody will be able to report out.
Well, you can log in, his reply, so he can remove it.
Google Meet in, okay. All right,
Yeah, I have my computer with me.
okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, I'll be going for the 18th through 20th.
And everybody good for that? Oh, great. Next section. All right, we got close session. Okay, can I get a can I get a motion to adjourn?
I'll make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
All in favor? Aye. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.